settling into a posture that reflects both stability and openness, sensing how the body can be grounded yet receptive at the same time. Feel the points of contact beneath you, the quiet support of gravity, and allow the spine to rise naturally without stiffness. Let the shoulders soften, the jaw unclench, and the face relax into neutrality. Take a few natural breaths, noticing that awareness is already present, effortlessly knowing breath, sensation, and sound. Today's practice explores how sustained concentration naturally gives rise to insight, not as an intellectual conclusion, but as a clear seeing into how experience actually unfolds. Rather than chasing insight or trying to force understanding, you will learn to let clarity emerge from steady attention itself. Begin by bringing attention to a single chosen anchor, such as the breath at the nostrils or the gentle movement of the abdomen. Allow this anchor to be simple and consistent. Do not analyze it, just feel it. Let attention rest there, returning again and again whenever the mind wanders. As concentration strengthens, notice how distractions become easier to recognize earlier, often before they fully pull you away. Each recognition is a moment of clarity. Each return refines attention. This stable focus is the foundation upon which insight is built. As minutes pass, begin to notice the quality of attention itself. Is it tight or relaxed, effortful or fluid? Gently adjust toward a balance where attention is steady, but not forced. This balance allows the mind to remain focused, while also sensitive to subtle changes in experience. Now observe that even while attention stays with the breath, other phenomena continue to arise. Sounds, bodily sensations, thoughts, emotions. Instead of pushing these away, notice them peripherally while keeping the primary anchor in the foreground. This layering of attention marks the meeting point between concentration and insight. Concentration stabilizes the mind. Insight begins when you notice how experiences arise and pass within that stability. When a thought appears, see if you can notice it as a mental event rather than content. Perhaps it manifests as an image, a phrase, or a subtle impulse. Observe how it arises spontaneously, lingers briefly, and then dissolves without needing to be completed. Return gently to the breath. This observation reveals a key insight. Thoughts are events, not commands. They do not require belief or action to exist. As you continue, notice sensations in the body with greater precision. Perhaps you feel tingling, pressure, pulsing, or warmth. Stay with these sensations while maintaining your anchor. Notice how they shift moment by moment, sometimes intensifying, sometimes fading. This direct perception of change reveals impermanence not as an idea, but as lived experience. Insight grows when you see impermanence clearly, again and again. Now bring attention briefly to the sense of effort itself. Notice the impulse to control, to hold attention tightly, or to achieve a certain state. See this impulse as another phenomenon arising in awareness. When recognized, it often softens on its own. Concentration deepens not through force, but through repeated clarity. Return to the breath, letting attention be continuous and relaxed. As the mind settles, you may notice moments of increased clarity, where experience feels vivid, simple, Insight is not a peak experience. It is an ongoing process of seeing clearly. If dullness or spacing out occurs, gently re-energize attention by feeling the texture of the breath more precisely or straightening the posture slightly. If agitation arises, soften effort and widen awareness just enough to include the body. These adjustments refine both concentration and insight together. Now begin to notice the sense of self within experience. Without analyzing or questioning conceptually, observe where the sense of I appears. Is it a thought, a feeling, a tension in the body, a habit of commentary? See that this sense of self also arises within awareness, changes, and passes. This noticing does not require conclusions. Simply observe. Insight matures through seeing, not through explanation. Continue anchoring attention in the breath while allowing this curiosity to operate gently in the background. When emotions arise, notice how they appear as sensations and mental tones. See how they too change when observed steadily. This reveals another layer of insight. Experiences do not remain fixed when met with awareness. They move, they respond, they pass. As the practice deepens, you may notice a subtle shift where awareness feels less centered on doing and more on observing. Attention continues to rest on the breath, but there is a growing sense of space around experience. This spaciousness allows insight to unfold naturally. Nothing needs to be added. Notice how this spacious awareness is not distant or detached. It is intimate and clear. Now gently reflect, without words if possible, on the fact that concentration and insight are not separate practices, but complementary aspects of one process. Concentration steadies the lens. Insight is what becomes visible through that steadiness. Each moment of returning to the anchor strengthens both. If distractions appear frequently, that is not a setback. It offers more opportunities to observe the mechanics of attention, forgetting, remembering, and returning. Observe how the act of remembering is itself a moment of insight. You see clearly that the mind wandered, and that seeing allows choice. Now allow attention to rest more continuously, minimizing deliberate adjustments. Let the practice run itself for several breaths. Observe whatever arises. Feel how awareness can be steady without strain. Toward the later part of the session, notice whether experience feels more unified, less fragmented. Sounds, sensations, and breath may appear as part of one coherent field rather than separate objects. If this occurs, rest with it gently. If it does not, simply continue focusing. There is no requirement to reach a particular state. Insight unfolds according to conditions, not demand. Before closing, reflect briefly on how this practice extends into daily life. When attention is steady, insight naturally arises in ordinary moments, revealing how habits, reactions, and assumptions operate. You begin to see options where before there were reflexes. This is the practical fruit of concentration meeting insight. Now bring attention back clearly to the breath. Take a few slower, deliberate breaths, feeling the body as a whole.